The main reason I started it was because I had these interests that I felt like I didn't have anyone really to talk to about. So it was just a way for me to feel like I had people that I could talk to about the things I enjoyed. And I always liked the idea of having friends all over the world, or people that I could meet and get along with. And it definitely was able to fulfill that, which is good. So yeah, we grew up, because I going back to something you said before, like, you would always kind of have a camera in your hand. And I think we grew up in a strange time where we did always have a camera, and like we've just grown into this weird space of documenting things, and then the internet came along, and then it just was just something that was this strange progression of the normalization of documenting things and sharing them publicly. Like, I never actually talked about this. Kind of, well, I don't know roughly the timeline, but I know it was around the time when I was starting to feel like numb and just kind of just going through the motions of just posting. And I had an incident, this was a good few years ago now, where my safety was somewhat compromised. I think as well, like, being brave enough to have these conversations, because I mean, there was even a point where I was really second guessing, and I was feeling, again, if you're someone who's overly sensitive, or maybe you're like someone who's used to seeking kind of external validation, or like, am I being too much? Like, I just need to get in a little bit. When I meet people in real life, like when I met that subscriber in Japan, who, yeah, she was just so kind, and I've met people, from YouTube, and I just, in those little moments, I think it's just a nice little reminder that this is what it's all about.
Hi everyone, welcome back to Zen and Now. And on today's episode, I'm joined by Pawlowski, a YouTuber who keeps it real about the darker side of social media. We talk about getting stuck into the world of scrolling, chasing luxury, and figuring out how to stay true to yourself in the world built on curated perfection. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
No, you're welcome. First off, congratulations on the success of your YouTube channel. Over 100,000. It's amazing.
Thank you. Thanks. Yeah, it's funny. It's something that I was chasing, I think, for so long. And then when it happened, it didn't, I guess that's what you look like when you're chasing a goal for so long, and then it happens. You think it's like the be all and end all. And I'm going to be wrong. I'm so grateful, and I'm so happy to be here. But it's a funny thing that I think we experience when we've been chasing something for so long, and then it.
No, yeah. It's an achievement. Like you said, most of us are trying to actually get to. So kudos to you for getting there. I mean, your content is awesome. I've gone through your content, and it's so relevant in this day and age and you're speaking the truth about all, what is actually, like, I guess the word is being a detriment to society in terms of where we are. So yeah. I thank you for shedding light on that as well.
Thank you. That means a lot.
You're welcome. So Caitlin, for our viewers and listeners who aren't aware who Caitlin is, can you just give us a little bit of an intro into who you are, where you're from, and why you started your journey on YouTube?
Oh, I'm so bad at talking about myself in this regard. Well, my name's Caitlin, and I'm 31. I live in Australia, and I started posting, oh gosh, probably when I was maybe 19 or 20, just kind of playing around online on YouTube, various social media platforms. And then most of those videos are private now. And I just, it was always something that I did in the background. YouTube was always something that I did on the side or just for fun. And then, I think around maybe when I was 26, maybe 25, 26, I started taking it a little bit more seriously and posting more frequently. And I suppose it occurred to me that maybe I could grow a community online. But the main reason I started it was because I had these interests that I felt like I didn't have anyone really to talk to about.
Hmm.
So it was just a way for me to feel like I had people that I could talk to about the things I enjoyed. And I always liked the idea of having friends all over the world or people that I could meet and get along with. And it definitely was able to fulfill that, which is good.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. It's just about sense of getting your message out there as well, and
Yeah.
finding like-minded people who actually resonate with you on that level.
Yeah.
Uh,
I think in the beginning, when I was 19, I didn't even really have a message or anything. I didn't have anything that was actually that I think purposeful or like purpose driven. It was only really in the last couple of years, I think, that I started to reconsider what I chose to talk about online.
mhm. Yeah, I guess you've become a little more comfortable to sharing.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so.
Why is that?
Um,
Why do you think? What was the moment that gave you that assurance? Okay, I'm comfortable now with who I am, where I am, to share exactly my experiences.
well, I think because I started years ago, just like talking about beauty and like various other like little niches or things I enjoyed, and then I found myself in the fashion space and talking about fashion, and it was a lot of unboxings and hauls, and then it got to a point around the pandemic where I can't even remember what video it was, but I just put like a random little clip in the middle of the video that was not it was just me just talking to the camera um, about feeling almost empty, as depressing as that sounds. Like there was something missing, like there was almost like a void. Um, and it probably was only maybe like for a minute or two of the video, and it just was just randomly in the middle of the video, and I think it really struck a chord with a lot of people. A lot of people expressed that they kind of resonated with that, or that
Yeah,
they'd felt that, or that they were currently feeling that. And it was a moment where I thought, wow, maybe I'm not alone in feeling this. And are we all, when I say we all, I mean maybe there is a large number of people that were maybe buying or spending or shopping or just living life and acting as if they were feeling okay,
yeah,
but maybe deep down they weren't.
yeah. It's
Yeah.
masking the actual insecurities from a surface level.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
I think that's where most of us actually struggle to be accepted, not just from a broader perspective, but from for ourselves.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, I think anxiety for me also was part of that journey as well. Uh, I think I look back at my journey of also just capturing moments. I've always had a camera with me or something, even when I was playing sports, cricket, always, or sports, or whatever it was, I was just capturing moments, but I never did anything with it.
Mm.
Uh, and then there was a moment when I actually moved, when we actually moved from South Africa to Canada. I actually found, okay, there's something there.
Mm.
There's something more that I need to do in terms of my calling. So like sitting in front of a camera was I didn't have the words. I was not a wordsmith, basically. So I struggled to get words out or be comfortable, like maybe
Mm.
sharing my message, in an authentic way. Then I thought to myself, you know what? It's never going to be perfect.
Mm.
It's never going to be clean. You're never going to be uh, okay with what is just you think is perfect or what is perfection. Just speak your truth. Speak from what
Yeah,
comes from your heart.
absolutely.
And if it
Yeah.
resonates with somebody, it resonates with somebody. If not, it's okay because it's also a form of therapy for me. Because I'm an
Mhm.
internalizer. I used to keep a lot of things on my chest. And when it gets to a big moment, then I just explode, which is not
Mm.
healthy.
No, no, absolutely not. And I think for me, my kind of explosion just came in in the form of that video where I shared that void.
Hmm.
And then after that, it just was like, I can't do this anymore. I physically can't do this anymore. Like I can't, I can't keep going in this direction because it just felt almost painful
Hmm.
is such a strange way to describe it.
No,
But
it is. It is.
yeah.
It is painful.
Mm.
It's painful not just to you, but everybody around you as well. Because
Hmm.
nobody wants to see you in pain, right?
No, but it almost felt like as well, was feeling so stuck and caught in the middle because as maybe as silly to some it would seem, but you know, my online community meant and still does mean so much to me. And I just felt so strangely unsure about what to do because, like these people who I'd grown to really care about and who I'd grown to even know some of them personally or speak to them regularly on Instagram or
Yeah.
even email and even just in my comment sections, I felt like, oh my gosh, like I can't, it almost felt like I didn't want to stop doing what I was doing and almost feeling like I was going to let them down or I was going to disappoint them. But then it also felt like I couldn't keep doing this because of it was feeling so painful and the
Yeah.
void and just, yeah, it was soul sucking.
Yeah. No, I get you. I get you. I watched that video as well, and you could feel the pain and the trauma that you were experiencing at the time, and you could resonate with it because there were so many dark moments in my time or in my life that I could go back to, and I look when somebody else speaks about it, you understand that okay, I'm not alone. I think
Mm,
that's the most important aspect of all of this is people just want to know that they're not alone. Hence why I
yeah.
think myself and you as well, like being on an online presence, we're starting to create a little bit of momentum for people to start now just stepping into their power. It doesn't have to
Mhm.
be the same way we do it.
Right.
Don't get me wrong. Everyone has their own way of coming out and stepping into their power. But I think now they're using their voice a little more. And
Mhm.
I had a previous guest on who's a voice coach and she does she uses voice as healing, as a
Oh,
tool of
wow.
healing. So it's about using your voice in a way that it doesn't matter. You don't have to be a seamstress or whatever, but you just have to be able to express how you feel from a
Mhm.
vocal standpoint.
Mm,
Because vocally,
absolutely.
sometimes you feel, I'm not sure about you, but sometimes we feel like our voice is not heard enough
Mm,
or in a way that it's impactful.
mm. I also think, in the age of social media, when you hear, I think now it's changing a little bit, but when there are so many dominant voices, um, or like people not speaking about what you're speaking about, I think sometimes you think, oh my gosh, like maybe I'm alone in this, going back to what you were saying before. And, we're really not alone. But I think sometimes it can feel scary to talk about things that you don't really hear many other people talking about
Yeah.
because you think maybe I'm alone. Like maybe I just need to just zip
Hide.
it and just get on with it because maybe it's not something else anybody can relate to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's 100% for true. And I think the loneliness is starting to dissipate a little bit more from where the generations that I grew up with. I think a
Mm,
lot of my friends now in my generation, are starting to be a little bit more vocal
mm,
about expressing themselves, especially from a community, from our own social communities or ethnic backgrounds. It's a bit difficult to express.
How, if you don't mind me asking, how old are you?
I'm
Are you a
40,
millennial? Okay, yep. So you're a
a millennial.
millennial, yes.
Yeah.
So yeah, we grew up because going back to something you said before, like you would always kind of have a camera in your hand, and I think we grew up in a strange time where we did always have a camera, and like we've just grown into this weird space of documenting things,
Yes.
and then the internet came along, and then it just was just something that was this strange progression of the normalization of documenting things
Hmm.
and sharing them publicly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. I
it's
remember
really
those days where we had, okay, I didn't start with the now new age tech. We had those, those little cameras with like like a 4 megapixel camera. Everything is blurry. It's just like there's no quality to it. But you look back now at those moments and you're so grateful that you actually
Yeah.
captured it. You know,
Oh, absolutely.
it's nostalgic as well, taking
It
you
is.
back.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh, one of your passions is shopping and fashion. How did you get into that? Where did the interest start?
It's funny. I don't know if it's, yeah, it's, I mean, shopping was definitely something that I used to call a hobby of mine and a passion. I don't really think I see it like that anymore, but it was something that I got into when I think when I first went to America and I saw just so much that I'd never really been exposed to before. Like I live in a relatively smallish town and obviously like now it's a bit more common, but still not that common. But you know, I just would see all these really beautifully dressed women and their handbags, and I just remember just thinking, wow, look how beautiful they look. Like they're so confident.
Hmm.
They look like they're so successful and beautiful. And I just was, I don't know if I just spent too much time in LA, particularly, but I just thought I really want a handbag. I really want a handbag. And then fast forward to me getting one and then finding this online community of other women who were just obsessed with them and loved them. And then it just became this snowball of just every fashion label becoming interested in different designers, different handbags. And it just kind of snowballed from there. And that's when I started posting a little bit about it and I made some friends in within Australia and just around the world that also like those things. And it was just like this really nice little moment in the beginning where I felt like I finally had friends that had similar interests to me.
Hmm.
And I was making more friends, which was also nice. And then it just continued to grow and grow and grow into this giant thing that I just fed, essentially. More
Yeah.
than I probably should have, looking back.
Yeah, I think all lessons are life lessons, and I think we have to take the good and bad of it, and we use it as fuel going forward.
Mhm. Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
LA
Absolutely.
was that for a tourist visit or just a vacation or just something that you or more
It
something
was
more?
no, it was just a tourist visit. Like I
Okay.
just was holidaying with a friend and yeah, and then it just took off from there really.
Yeah. Unfortunately, LA is quite a bit of a scene right now, downtown
Mm.
LA,
Yes, it
all the
definitely does.
politics and all of that. But no, I get what you're saying. It's
Mm.
there's something that just catches your eyes like a moment.
Mm.
I myself have, love like I love labels. I love brands as well, and I don't feel sorry about it. This is who I am.
Yeah.
I always get this in my workplace. Like my boss keeps or my the head of the studio, yeah, keeps asking me, are you sponsored? I'm like, no, no, I'm not sponsored. I wish I was. I wish I was, but yeah, I just love it. I mean, my mom grew us up in brands, not luxury brands, but your standard brands, so your Nikes, your uh, Reeboks, your Lyland Scotts, those kind of
Mm.
things, and it shaped me for who I was in terms
Mm.
of outlook in life. Because if you look good and feel good, you know, the projection of positivity or confidence comes out.
Absolutely.
Did you feel that way?
I think I did. It gave me a sense of confidence and also made me feel unique and I suppose special, as arrogant as that may sound. It made me feel, yeah, confident and special and just unique. I think that was quite a big draw for me. I also really loved, though, there was obviously like the history of some of the brands that I
Yeah.
still really appreciate. I don't really like to follow along with it too much anymore because it makes me a little bit sad. Sometimes I'll hear news and I'll think, oh gosh, like
Mm.
what's happening to this? It's kind of sad to see what's happening to some of these brands. But yeah, it was, it was just a world that I didn't grow up with. So to have that and to just I became almost obsessed with it.
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
So I want to touch a little bit on that. When you say you became obsessed with it, do you think it consumed you in a way that you felt the word I'm looking for is, do you feel like you were sucked into that world and you didn't know how to get out?
At the time, it didn't feel like I really wanted to get out, and I didn't think it was a bad thing because it didn't feel that way until I stopped feeling good about it. But yeah, like it was a world that I did get sucked into, but I knowingly did, and I enjoyed being in it. And I didn't really think about how unhealthy it was, and I think it was because for me, I had this online community and these people that were also very into that and doing the exact same things and
Yeah.
sometimes even doing more. So it's almost like I was in this echo chamber of, oh no, there's nothing wrong with it. And I mean, there isn't, I suppose, but it's like when you see a lot of other people doing that and it almost starts to feel fine and normal and um, healthy, which again, to some people it is, and they don't take it too far or it
Yeah.
doesn't leave them feeling a certain way.
Why did you feel that way? Why did you feel it? You needed to break away.
I don't really know. It just got to a point where maybe it was because it was coming from an unhealthy place and I didn't realize it in the beginning. Because it just got to a point, and I don't even remember, like, I can't even remember the specific moment,
Hmm.
but it was like I would just buy things and I would just, like, there was nothing. There was like no excitement, no,
Ah, okay.
and I just felt weirdly like dead and numb inside. And I don't know. And then it's weird because I just think there was a part of me that my brain hadn't fully caught up yet because I just was just still going. I was like, oh well, it doesn't, like I was ignoring it almost, like ignoring this feeling.
Hmm.
Um, and then it became almost too hard to ignore. And I just felt like what you said, like I just exploded almost in the sense of like I was like, I can't do this anymore. I can't do this anymore. I've had enough. Like I've truly overindulged to the point where I was just completely put off.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Look, I'm not going to be tooting your horn or anything here, or for the listener audience, I'm not trying to just elevate you, but I will say getting to that point of breaking away is mindfulness, and not a
Mm-hmm.
lot of people get to that point. So I
Yeah.
just want to give you stacks for that, for actually acknowledging before it got too bad
Oh,
that it
thank you.
became a detriment to your life. So, well done for actually just breaking away from an unhealthy habit or cycle, and try to, I mean, we don't really actually get away from it, but we learn to manage it in a way
Mm-hmm.
that's a bit more healthier in a way. So that's just my point of day. I just wanted to give you that accolade and say, what, well done.
Thank you. Thanks. That means a lot.
It's not easy. I understand it's never easy. I myself also had, the addictions of pornography and all of those things growing up, and something that I've never shared with until now. But it's okay to share those things, because these are the kind of discussions that we need to have, because the online space, social media space, and I know you speak a lot about OnlyFans,
Mm.
and OnlyFans right now is becoming a cesspool of just unhealthy, derogatory content, and not just our younger generation, but the elder generations are also consuming that, and they're feeling that's an outlet of
Mm.
to suppress loneliness.
Yes. And it's very much normalized now, isn't it? It's
Hmm.
very much normalized in society. And we open up our phones now and it's everywhere. It's not really hidden. It's just right in our faces. And I can't imagine. And it's funny, I guess this is a weird connection to make. And I suppose not everyone obviously feels this way. Like some people can open up their phones and look at clothing or look at handbags or look at like a lifestyle and not be so consumed by it.
Hmm.
Similar to maybe a man can open his phone and see half naked women all the time and not be consumed by it. But there's also a significant number of people that it either really does
Yes.
negatively affect, or just like slowly over time might just like chip away at you.
Yeah. It's an addictive personality.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't really think about it, but when you look back at your upbringing, there were moments in time where you realize, okay, I do have a bit of an addictive personality. We didn't want to accept it because nobody wants to be that label, of addiction. And when you get to a point where you say, okay, I was that. I don't speak to myself in that tone anymore or in that way. I accept that was who I was.
Mm-hmm.
And it's all of me. I am everything that I am right now.
Mm.
And we can't really isolate parts of it and say, okay, no, this is not me anymore, that's not me. It was part of you. You have to accept all of it. It's like when you go into a relationship, you accept the next person for all of what they are.
Mm-hmm.
Good, bad, ugly, noisy, whatever it is. Because it's the love that you have. So you have to show the love for yourself in that way. So all parts of it.
Absolutely. I think in the beginning, it's a little bit harder to do.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you feel the same way, but it's almost, again, like going back to what you said about being like a personality thing. I do try to, and I say this to other people as well that I speak to privately about this in my DMs and through email and things like that. It's like if you have this addictive personality, it's really not something that you could probably change. But I guess if you could flip that on its head and see it as almost a positive thing, because most people who can channel so much energy into something,
Yeah.
it may be seen as a bad thing, but I suppose only if you channel it into something that can grow unhealthy. Whereas like I like to think now that, because now I see the pattern in other people who do have this addictive personality. When they find something, whether it be, I don't know, just something that makes them feel like they're making a difference or something that brings them more joy, it is quite a talent and a gift and a good thing if you can find something to channel that into, whether it be just one thing or a few different things. Yeah. Does that make sense?
Balance. Yeah, I think it's a balance.
Yeah.
Finding the balance or the sweet spot, knowing when to break away or when to stop.
Mm.
Yeah. I had to tell my therapist a couple of times. I had to stop social media for a couple of weeks just to detox because I caught myself doom scrolling for so long. And that really consumed my brain in a negative way. I stopped doing what I was doing. So I always share this with everybody that I have a chat with. It's not something that, I want to be known for, but it's something it's important for me to share is that when I hit that wall, that level of, I just couldn't take it anymore. I made it. Go ahead.
Keep going.
Yeah. I made a decision to institutionalize myself.
I'm super curious, like as a man, what is it for you? Because it's weirdly something I always just assume women fall into the trap of doom scrolling. But what is it for you? Like, what do you like fall into in terms of doom scrolling? Like, is it what kind of content is it?
So mostly just slapstick humor.
Oh, okay.
Slapstick humor. I mean, men are visual. I'll be honest with you. We are visual beings. So like you said, even if you see a half-naked lady online, you are going to be attracted to something that looks good. And that's the honest truth about it. We do get attracted to those kind of images. And obviously then the algorithm kicks in and then starts, pumping all those kind of content onto your timeline. Football, not football, not Aussie football, but soccer, cricket, sports, any kind of sports that also like I'll be attracted to, I'll be pushed that content. But it's more of like, I think human beings are attracted to chaos. We love chaos.
Yeah.
I'll share you a story of you. So my late uncle passed away during COVID. And obviously he passed away in South Africa and we were in Canada and couldn't attend the funeral. We had to watch it online. But he was very close to me in my upbringing. I saw him as a role model. And I was obviously devastated I couldn't attend, but I knew there were so many lessons that I learned from him. And when I shared that as a blog on my then website, which no longer exist. But I got so much of traction on that article or that blog, and in that moment, I realized people are attracted to chaos and despair
Yeah.
more than positivity.
It's an interesting. First of all, I'm so sorry about your uncle, and I'm sorry that you couldn't attend the funeral
No, thank
physically.
you so much. I appreciate that.
But you're right. It's something I really only realized a couple of years ago, that we are attracted to chaos. I mean, you see it in the views, and you see it what people engage with online. Like that's why I find social media so fascinating. It's like a real look into human psychology, because as much as we might say one thing, the views
Say
don't
another.
lie. And yeah, like where we put our time, our energy, and like what rises to the top of
Yeah.
social media is usually chaos. um and that, I think, says a lot about what we are drawn to.
hmm
Mm.
Yeah, like you said, it's a psych thing.
Mm.
I think we don't want to. We love to see we love to see other human beings in dire moments. It's a
Why do you
weird
think
thing. It maybe I'm phrasing it incorrectly or in a bit of a harsh way, uh, but I think empathy is such a disproportionate feeling now, where a lot of people are just like you said. You felt when you were going through your that moment when you felt empty. You didn't feel like it was bringing you joy anymore. I think a lot of people are just now at that stage where this is normal. I'm saying it's become a norm where when we're trying to punt motivation or happiness or trying to fuel somebody to do something better for themselves, we get hate comments of like, why are you posting your workout videos? Look at you. You're not even attractive enough to do so.
Mm.
But it's not about that. The person posting the video is posting about their own struggle, their own journey, their own experience of trying to improve themselves. And there's always going to be trolls out there.
Mm.
And I had to learn how to just to deflect those negative elements of it. And it was just a reflection of who they were. Because
Mm.
bullying was also part of my upbringing. I was bullying a lot. I was bullied in high school quite a lot. So I had to learn how to now accept, okay, yeah, some people are going to like you, some people are not going to like you, and that's okay.
Mm.
And because I come from a space of, oh, everybody needs to like me. I'm not
Mm.
causing harm to anybody. Why are you causing harm to me? But that's not the case. I don't like
Mm.
everybody, so why should everybody like me, right? So we get stuck in this tornado of self acceptance and uh, trying to just please everybody. It becomes so heavy on your shoulders that you just don't, then you really just break. And that's why I
100%.
think a lot of people are just trying to like hone in on that and focus on that. If that makes sense.
I think it maybe, I mean, obviously we're very different people, but I do think similar experience. I think if you grew up maybe being bullied at school, um, I think, I think sometimes for me, I honestly wonder if this community almost gave me the validation that like 15, 16, 17-year-old Caitlin just really wanted.
Yeah.
Um, because, like, and it can sometimes kind of go in an unhealthy direction, because if you are naturally someone who maybe you were bullied as a kid, or it's like taught you to just look for external validation, the online space can be a bit dangerous.
Mm.
And like, I don't know if you feel this way, but I'm trying to be more aware of it now, because, going back to the hate comments, and it's funny because I don't know if you feel the same way, but it's always usually in the minority. Like I think within our own communities, most people are just really kind and lovely
Mhm.
and just supportive, or just even if they have a different opinion, they're usually quite respectful about it. But it's usually like a small percentage of people that might leave something nasty
Yeah.
or say something mean. And that's just where most of the focus will go. And I'll have people in my real life who'll be like, Caitlin, but like, look at all of these people who are saying like nice
Lovely
things, or
stuff. Yeah.
or sharing their experiences, how they feel.
Mm.
It's just like a weird thing where we focus on the bad sometimes.
Yeah. Too
Maybe
much, I
more than
think, at
we
times.
should. Yeah, maybe more than we should. Yeah.
Yeah. Hence why we need to be so mindful of the fact that
Hmm.
it's just like you said, a minority of percentage of people who actually or trolls or whoever it is
Yeah.
that actually
Hmm.
are just trying to just bait you
Exactly.
into
Yeah.
crumbling.
Mm-hmm.
There's a notion that when we were in sports or in cricket, um, we were always met with this connotation of, so you know, crabs in a bucket.
Mm-hmm.
Because when one crab tries to leave, other crabs pull it down.
Mm-hmm.
It's like that. So when
Yeah.
one is trying to succeed or elevate themselves out,
Mm-hmm.
there's always going to be somebody, so something pulling you back.
Mm-hmm.
You need to just keep fighting and fighting and fighting just to
Yeah.
get out of that bucket.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of, like, in your space, just trying to not focus too much on the negative, but try to stay true to your message and your content. And what you
Yeah.
know you're putting out there is authentic and it's yours.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, absolutely.
Yeah, it's weird. Like you said, it's a weird phenomenon that we're attracted to Discord.
Yeah, it really is.
Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this short break.
Yeah.
How do you feel with the current scheme of things? What you see on social media about like people, sharing the extreme wealth that they've gained from social media or like from OnlyFans, and just really putting themselves like out there for everybody just to, in an expose basically.
It's like I have like a few different feelings, I suppose. I think from the point of view of the safety, like I think I did a video or two about it, but I think if you are posting, and again, I'm not at all saying nobody deserves this. This is the thing. Nobody deserves to, there are people, like I know of people who have had stalkers, who have had, their houses broken into, who've had things stolen, and it's never right. And it's like, unfortunately, this arena that you almost place yourself in, when you post about your life in this way, like, and I've become very aware, and I speak to people about this, and I think more so than ever, people are taking more safety precautions with, their safety, but just not posting in real time. But yeah, it can be a bit dangerous. And I think maybe that's not shown as much, people who are posting extreme wealth or posting their lifestyles in that way, maybe it doesn't happen to them. It's not happening to everybody. Obviously,
For
it's
sure.
maybe some people, but I also think, unfortunately, again, social media being what it is and only really sharing the highlight reel, most people wouldn't want to talk about that because it's then opens that up. And sometimes it can almost aggravate the person. Like, I even have friends in this industry who are like, yeah, I can never talk about this. I can never speak about this incident with this person because of the
X, Y,
legal,
and Z, yeah.
yeah, X, Y, and Z. And also, almost you can aggravate them, and it can
Yeah,
sometimes even want to retaliate, or,
exactly.
but yeah, it's you just never know, these people that are having and sharing this much on social media with these beautiful lives that they live. You may never know what they've got going on, or who's harassing them, because they probably wouldn't share that. But also from the point of view of, I think it does very much fall into that comparison trap from a viewer standpoint. You only see the good parts of it. You only see this lifestyle and just how amazing it must look to just be surrounded by these beautiful things and
Yeah,
have these houses and fly private jets everywhere and do all these things. And I think when, especially in today's economy, when most people can't even
afford
to, pay their bills, do a small grocery shop, live, it can almost turn into, sometimes it can just go into this comparison trap of feeling horrible about your life.
yeah.
But it also can then also sometimes turn into resentment, and it can build up in you when you see people online, and it can, yeah, it's
Yeah,
sad.
I think we're so connected, yet we feel alone.
Mm,
Yeah, we're still alone.
yeah.
Hence why it's so important to have self-love,
Mm-hmm.
have authentic people, honest people around you to call you out on your bullshit at times, and not take it to heart, because they know they have the best interest
Yes.
at heart for you. And it's not about them being nasty towards you, or they want to do it to make you feel bad. No, they really do have your best interest in heart. And sometimes calling it out is the best way. We
Yeah,
all love soft love, empathy, but we also need the harsh truth at times. And it's
absolutely.
about taking that information on and sitting with it, working through it, and really introspectively look at why what that was being said to us. What action did we take? I mean, this the other day. So my relationship with my wife had sometimes got a bit heated at times, and we'd back and forth of judgment. You did this, I did this, you did no, no, no. And now we're in a space where we express how we feel, even though it made the other person feel makes the other person feel bad. But the length of when we stay mad at each other has decreased tenfold, because now it's about, you take what they say and you introspect it really quickly, and you think, oh crap, I'm sorry, I did make you feel that way, and I'm sorry. The reason why is because I was projecting my own insecurities onto you in that moment, and I'm really sorry. But that only comes from working through all of those dark moments.
No, that sounds like a very healthy way to to have disagreements.
Yeah, it wasn't always that way.
No.
It's always been, there were moments where the relationship probably was never at a good space. It was at an end, but we stuck into it, and really did the hard work, not just for ourselves, but for personally as well, to make sure that the group thrives. Hence why we've lost a lot of connections, we've lost a lot of friends, we've lost a lot of family in that way. And sometimes it sucks because you really feel alone. But you're here for a purpose, and you're living your truth now. And inner peace is all that matters right now. You don't really need that external bullshit anymore, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm rambling, but yeah. Hence why it's important to have these kind of open and honest discussions.
Yeah.
We need to call it out, and that's how we feel, and that's just the way it is.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean,
I
given
think
that, go on.
no, go.
No, go ahead.
I think yeah, going back to having people around you, I think it's so important. I mean, if this is what going back to what you were saying with the online world, I think sometimes those worlds can almost feel blurred, and I think sometimes it's good to have like a strong group of people around you in your real life that that you remember that no matter what else is happening out there, you have these core group of people that are with you and will call you out on things or just support you and be there for you. And yeah, I think it's so important.
Yeah. I mean, given you've had discussions with so people willing to share their stories, how do you protect yourself from that energy?
It's funny, I always leave those conversations just feeling, I don't know, it's funny, like I've only had a few of them, but yeah, I think I come back from those conversations feeling like there are certain things that I can relate to, and I never thought that I could, from an outsider looking in. Yeah, it's strange to think something, and then you sit down with someone for long enough and talk to them, and when they share their story, you realize how connected you may be, even though your lives are completely different, or what you've experienced is completely different. Yeah, I do find it quite heavy hitting. Like some of the people that I've spoken to, not only in interviews, but also in my DMs or in emails, I do sometimes think about them still. And I worry about them, and I hope they're doing okay. Or I think, oh, yeah, what are they doing now? I've also had to, because when I've gone down this route of, there's various people I've spoken to offline and online as well, but it also like is a bit of a boundary I've had to set where I almost have to like limit the conversations, because sometimes I can get sucked into like it can get all consuming, and then I worry about them, and I and then I'm like, oh, I don't want to be an enabler. I don't want to feel like I'm being a crutch, or yeah, it's a tricky place that I'm even still at this current point in time trying to navigate,
Okay.
like dealing with kind of those heavy topics, because when you meet someone or when you're speaking to someone when they are at a vulnerable point of their life, whether they're experiencing addiction or their marriage is breaking down because of said addiction, it's a hard place to navigate. Yeah, it's really quite tricky.
Mm-hmm.
If you have any tips on that, I'd love to hear them. Because it's hard to not have it be all consuming, and it's something I do kind of stress about and I worry about, and it does kind of keep me up sometimes. Thinking about people, it's funny when you can think about people that you've literally never met, but it's a weird thing, isn't it? Yeah.
Do you journal at all?
Oh yeah, I mean I haven't for a good few weeks now, but it's funny. It's a habit I go in and out of.
Okay.
Maybe I should stay in it a bit longer than I do.
How do you feel when you're getting something off your chest? How does it make you feel? Is journaling like that avenue to get some of that energy off of you?
Yeah, actually, it does help. I think it's more just the idea of finding time. I think maybe with the way I am and digitally, I strangely have started like doing like voice memos, like audio voice memos, just because sometimes if I think, oh, I don't have time, which I do, but I don't have time to sit down and journal. But if I could just literally pull over on the side of the road, or I can, I think it helps a little bit to like talk through it a little bit. I think that's something that's helpful.
Yeah, something that helps me, because I also sometimes we're having deep discussions, and when somebody you're having that vulnerable discussion, it does leave you with something. What I usually do is I'll step away from that environment, go into nature, or just go outside. No technology, nothing. Just be in the space, listen to the sounds, listen to the traffic, listen to people, or just be. Or for me, what works for me is exercise or being active. So cycling, I'll go on a bike ride and just I will have a podcast on, but something positive, and just ride, because I know I'm doing something that makes me feel good, and in that turns into positivity, and then that energy starts to build up. It radiates into a glow that you start to now release all the toxins out of you, if that helps. If you'd like, I do something called the trauma log.
Oh.
I can share it with you over email.
Oh, that'd be great. Thank you.
For sure. It's just, I just need to find it, I think. But when I do, I'll share it with you. So basically, it's just a column of where you are in that experience. So what triggered you? How did it make you feel? What part of the synopsis was activated? And how would you have liked it be resolved? So it's just about acknowledging the experience, acknowledging the feeling, what part of the body was activated, how did it make you feel, and how do you want it to be kind of like process it in a healthy way next time.
Okay.
So you just keep a log of all of that.
Yeah.
And in a way, it helps to process that that emotion or that experience.
Yeah.
Why, when, how, something like that.
Okay. All right. Okay. Thank you so much.
Yeah. And it's a little spreadsheet where you can just print it out, or keep with you somewhere, and then whenever something makes you feel that way, you can just jot it down.
Okay.
I think I have a whole PDF about it, of the explanation on the amygdala, the left side, right side brain, the amygdala, what gets activated. Because my therapist actually shared this with me, and it's helped to understand the brain, why we feel the way we do.
Okay, thank you. I would love to give that a go. Thank you so much.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's an interesting read.
Yeah.
I mean, I was never a biology student, so And when I started learning about my brain, I was like, okay, I'm going back to school.
Yeah. No, that's the same with me. I was never a biology student or in that science realm. However, I do find some of these things very interesting. And as much as, yeah, I do have trouble understanding it just because it's not something I ever really studied
Yeah,
before in school or anything. But no, it's definitely, yeah, it's interesting.
yeah. No, no worries. I'll share that with you after
Thank
the. Um, yeah, that's why I love these kind of conversations. It's sometimes raw. We don't
you.
really expect it to go the way it's supposed to go. 'Cause I think a lot of people are. They've always asked me the question, "Oh, are you just going to be asking me questions, or are we gonna?" Because sometimes, like you said, it's nerve-wracking coming on
Yeah.
a platform and you just
What way is this going to go?
yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah,
what's the intended outcome?
yeah, exactly. But
Yeah.
what I felt is once we start sharing our stories, things become a little less uh, anxiety driven,
Mm-hmm.
and that's when we feel like we're not alone.
Mm-hmm.
Hence, we become a little bit more open and we share our vulnerabilities, and hence why the podcast exists as well.
Mm.
Is because at one point in time I felt that way, didn't have an outlet to, or somebody, or confident to go and say, you know what, I'm feeling this way right now. What can I do? I internalized a lot, made a lot of mistakes,
Mm-hmm.
uh, self-inflicted, maybe external, some external as well. So that's why, hence why reaching out to you as well. When I saw your YouTube channel, I saw you sharing your stories, your vulnerabilities, and especially now in a digital age,
Mm.
what is consuming us
Mm.
and how we need to safeguard ourselves.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And we all have a story to share. Sometimes it's easy to resonate with personalities and celebrities and people with a million followers, but it's the actual, you know, the person that's actually trying to make a difference. That's why
Yeah.
we need to have these kind of discussions.
I think as well, like being brave enough to have these conversations, because I mean, there was even a point where I was really second guessing and I was feeling, again, if you're someone who's overly sensitive, or maybe um you're like someone who's used to seeking kind of external validation. I remember when I was going through all of this, there was discourse and there were people who, again, they didn't mean it in a nasty way. But saying, oh, like Caitlin's like, being too preachy, or, she's preaching at us about this and that. And I'd be like, oh God, like, am I being too much? Like, I just need
Mm,
to reel it in a little bit. Um, but yeah, and then I also think it again, if the message resonates with you, yeah, I think everybody's on a different path, and so what some people might experience is completely not what other people are going to be experiencing. So I think it's a matter of finding your voice and being able to just stand in that and be okay with, this is how I feel, and I feel like it's going to not only help myself but help others as well. And yeah, kind of trying to block out anything else around that, if that makes
yeah,
any sense.
it
Yeah.
does. I know you recently posted a video of your Bali trip. The reason I bring that up is because it's also a place of sentiment to me,
Mm.
because it was at a time where myself and my wife were going through quite a lot in our marriage, and Bali was a place where we ventured to find peace again.
Mm.
Hence why it resonated with me so much.
It's such a magical place, isn't it?
Yeah,
So
I mean we've
it's
been
like,
to Thailand,
oh, really? What was that like?
very commercial.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah,
I would like to go.
no, I mean you've got to experience it. You've got
Yeah.
to experience Thailand. I mean we've done the touristy stuff, Bangkok, Thailand,
Mm.
PP Island, all of that. Don't get me wrong, it's stunning, it's beautiful, but there's just something about Bali that just really resonated with us. What did
Yeah.
that
Like I,
feel like for you?
oh gosh, it was such whirlwind. Like it was 10 days. And I remember thinking, if I mean, even after, like before I was leaving, I was trying to plan, okay, when can I get back here? Because it was one of those things where I thought, I want to come back here on my own. I mean, obviously I want to come back with other people as well, but I thought I could come back here on my own and just be with myself for 7 days. And I was like, it was almost like what could I uncover within myself? Like, it's one of those places where you feel like you could get closer to who you truly are if you just sat with yourself there
Yeah.
long enough.
There's
Like,
an innate energy that's
Mm.
positive there. You can't really explain it until you go.
Like, I did this one thing. It's called the Pyramids of Chi.
Mhm.
And it was, have you ever, it was like sound healing.
Yeah.
And I've never done anything like it. And I was like, I want to do this again. Like, I want to do this again and again and again and again and again. But yeah, we could only go once because we just had so many other things we wanted to do there. But it's just such a magical place. And, it's funny because when I was there, I was talking to like a driver, and then I ended up Googling it because Mike Tyson was actually in Ubud the exact same time that I was in Ubud. I was like, oh my God, I whenever I want to see Mike Tyson. Like, I didn't see him. But in that moment, it just made me think, wow. And I was talking to the people I was with about it. I was like, Mike Tyson, who, is this very famous, very successful, loads of money. He probably has his own fair share of issues, but it really kind of made me feel, wow, like Mike Tyson is here looking for something. Like, he is which is known as one of the most spiritual places that you can go. He's also maybe dealing with some things that he's trying to work through, maybe.
So you're in South Australia, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Adelaide.
Yeah.
So there's a place called Othership. I'm not sure if you heard of it.
Can you spell it?
Othership. So Other ship, Ship.
Okay.
So Othership is a sauna and ice bath immersive experience.
Ooh.
But something that there is called, there's a class for sound healing. So when you mentioned sound healing, so my previous guest, she is a sound healer. So she conducts the class, and it's Othership as well, at Othership as well. So it just came to mind when you said sound healing. I thought, okay, let me check if Othership is available in Adelaide. You could check out. It's an awesome experience.
I'll have to have a look at it because like nothing's coming up. There's something in Toronto that's coming up.
Yeah. So if you just Google like Othership Adelaide, I think it is. Oh, maybe it's Adelaide Street here.
Yeah, there is a little bit of, there's a few different places that do sound healing that I've looked into, and then at one point I thought, oh God, could I study this or could I learn how to do this?
Sorry. I thought I was looking at Adelaide. I thought, okay,
oh, that's okay.
But no, it's if you can like find if you can't get to Bali, obviously, it's an awesome experience.
Absolutely.
It taught me how to push through because I struggle with saunas because of my my sinuses. I can't really sit for too long. But pushing through that uncomfortableness gets you to a place where you can. So I think it's good to have also a person guide you along.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But no, coming back to Bali, I think, like you said, there's such a calm energy there that allows you to work through something that you really need to.
Yeah. It's kind of amazing.
Yeah. And I saw you did this experience where, you were immersive and was something released, something that you're holding on to?
It was, I mean, I did a few experiences, but the one I shared of the temple, like the water purification, it was just a really amazing experience. And I think that trip, and the people I went with as well, my yoga instructor, who she's a friend of mine, and I mean, she was helping me work through some things that, again, I haven't shared publicly. I've honestly thought about it because it would be, I don't know, it's a bit of a interesting topic, but I was doing yoga with her 4 times a week because I was trying to heal something. I was trying to heal something that had come up on a routine test, and I was it was something I was supposed to get surgery for, and I'm not really big, I'm scared of all that, and I just was like, you know what, let me just see if there's other ways that I could get my body to heal this on its own. And I did, it was like a year-long process where the doctors were like, okay, when are you going to book in for this surgery? And I was like, just give me a bit more time. Please. And yeah, then I went back for another scan and it was still there. Like it was showing, something was still showing. And I was like, oh. And this naturopath was like, look, it's your nervous system. It's your nervous system. And she'd been saying that for ages. And I was like, yeah. Like, when someone says something and you kind of like stress, anxiety, yep, whatever. Let me just like meditate and walk and yep, all good. And it was like, I think it was like, the scan, I had another scan and it was like, came back and it was like, it was like a little bit better, but not fully. And then it's like that penny just dropped and I was like, oh, okay, my nervous system, interesting. Okay. And then I started doing yoga with the woman I went to Bali with like 4 times a week.
Yeah.
And I just remember like the first few weeks, I was just, excuse my language, like bitching. Like,
it's okay.
like, why am I getting up at like, 5 o'clock in the morning to just do this stupid stuff that's like not even working. It's just like, da, da, da. And then it was like one night, it's just like the most strange thing to share. But one night I got up in the middle of the night to use the bathroom. And I like walked to the bathroom and I just was like I just breathed. And it occurred to me just how often I wasn't breathing. And I just was like holding this tension. And then like there were moments throughout my days where I just would breathe. And I was like, oh.
What an underrated phenomenon.
The stuff that she's been doing with me for like an hour and a half, 4 times a week.
We can have like an hour long. I think we can have like a week-long discussion of breath work.
Magic is this? And it was just so funny because just the more I was going to these yoga these yoga sessions with her, it was all one-on-one. It was just like kind of life-changing. And it didn't occur to me till, like a good few months in. And then anyway, I went back for my scan and like everything was good. Everything was gone and good. And like, I didn't have to have surgery. And I was like,
wow,
my body did this all. And I'm like, oh, wow. Like, and I just, again, it depends what you believe. Obviously I'm not trying to, step on anyone's, but I just thought, wow, like my body did this. Like my nervous system, I gave my body enough time and it healed itself.
Holistic manifestation.
Yeah. And I mean, we're going majorly off topic of what this conversation is probably supposed to be about, but
no, it's all about mindfulness. It's all about everyday living. What gets us going? What works for us? What doesn't? Like our experiences. That's what it's about.
It blew my mind, and I just, I mean, I filmed it because much like what you said, we film everything. Like I film so many things that I just don't share. But it was just such a crazy experience. And I don't know how we got into talking about this, but Bali was probably where we went with this. But it really occurred to me with how much I need to, and I want to take my health seriously and my mental health and my nervous system. And I think being on social media is great in a lot of ways. Like it's done amazing things for my life and it's allowed me to meet so many wonderful people. But I think if you spend quite a lot of time on it, it also can have maybe some negative health impacts, especially mentally.
Yeah.
So I do think there needs to be, again, like that balance of what can I do to like counteract the negative side of social media.
I think we're a consumerism species.
Yeah, we are. Definitely.
So we consume of what we feel good. It's always the feel good factor, that dopamine hit all the time. We want that. It's like, when somebody takes a narcotic for the first time, it's that initial hit. And they're continuously chasing that first hit because you want to feel that euphoria all the time. Yeah. Hence why we then plateau into that addiction. Because we want to feel that first hit all the time.
Yeah.
And if you don't stop early or you don't catch it early, that's where the problem comes in.
And you're just seeking more and more and more of it.
Yeah. That initial high is the best feeling you'll ever have. You'll never get it again, ever. Unless you start something new that actually is a bit of a healthy high.
Yeah, it's funny. Like now, I look for my highs now in these things that I deem to be magical. It sounds so silly, but like when I look at like the seasons changing, and I think, wow, like it's magic. Like it's obviously not magic; it's just the seasons. But I'm like, it's magic. Like when Like,
I'm,
think
I'm
about
gonna
how my body can heal itself. I'm like, it's literally magic. Like, it's amazing.
I'm gonna disagree with you on that in terms of the seasons, because coming from South Africa, we only see two seasons:
Ah,
winter and
yeah.
summer.
Winter and summer.
Yeah,
Really? Yeah.
we don't really see the fall colors. We don't
Mm,
really see the transitions. It's mostly just like bang bang. But coming to Canada, we kind of like now we see
see.
the transitions. We see the city changing. We see, just the energies.
Mm,
So it is something that we should be,
mm,
we should take into account of how beautiful like the seasons are and how it makes
yeah,
us feel.
absolutely. Yeah. I
Yeah.
think you'd see a lot more season change than I would here in Australia. But no, I definitely I agree. It's funny how the older you get, and maybe when you just reach a point of just over excess and just overindulgence on material things, how you then just go back to looking for those highs in simpler things.
Meaning, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Everything in balance, everything in moderation.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah, because going cold turkey doesn't work for me.
No, no.
I probably
It's
crash
funny.
harder.
Worked for me, but I think it's just because I didn't mean to go cold turkey and I just had reached that point where I'm like, I've had enough. Like,
Okay.
it's not even like I was trying to stop.
Yeah.
I think, yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? Like, it's not like I had to force myself because I tried to do that before. But I think it's like when you've literally just reached a point where your soul is like, you've pushed me too far and I've truly had enough. But yeah, the cold turkey thing is, yeah, like unless you're truly at that point where you're like, I can't physically do this anymore.
Do
Yeah.
you guys do you guys celebrate Thanksgiving?
No, that's like,
Okay.
is it an American, Canadian,
It's a North American thing.
North American thing?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, we never
Yeah.
had it in South Africa, but it's part of now
Mm.
the tradition and culture here. So hence why you
Yeah.
said cold turkey. I was like, okay, cold turkey. Thanksgiving. But no, um, confidence wise, how did you feel? How do you feel now compared to when you first started your social media or your online
Mm.
platform?
It's funny. I think I used to look for confidence in external things,
Hmm.
like what I was wearing, how much, what I weighed, what my hair looked like, all of these things and like success. I found my journals from a few years ago and I just was like, my eyes were rolling so far back into my head about my obsession with just success and all these external things.
Yeah.
Whereas now it just feels like it's the complete opposite. Like my confidence is almost comes from like a quieter place. It feels like it's more just an internal thing. It's hard to explain. I'm not very good at articulation with this, but it's just this quiet feeling and this voice in my head that almost feels settled. And it's like a nice settled feeling of feeling okay. And this confidence, yeah, it's not as externally driven as it used to
I'm going to
be.
validate your feeling. It's like looking into a mirror.
Mm.
Well, right now it's like looking into a mirror because what you're defining and how you're explaining it is
Yeah.
exactly how I feel.
Okay, that makes me feel better. It makes some sense to somebody. It's
Yeah. I mean,
articulate.
I was also looking for external validation
Mm.
and it was always right here.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's funny because I think when I grew the platform that I had online all about external factors and these external things and just it's funny because when I decided to step away from all that, I really had to learn to not seek external validation because I'm sure like with YouTube, when you post and you see like the ranking that it gives you of like how
Yeah,
well
yeah.
your channel is down or your channel's
Oh,
doing this or you're not doing as well as you were. And that was something that I had to really look at and realize that, okay, like your world's not crumbling, like it's fine. And it was a moment where I realized that I had so many other things in my life that were wonderful. Um, and it didn't necessarily matter like the external factors, the views and all that. It wasn't as important. And I think you can realize that two ways, whether you do the work and really, but I think also when it happens to you, and when you experience a lull in your career or in YouTube or in like social media land, you realize that you can live without that external
Validation. Yeah.
validation, and it's better if it can come from an internal
Yeah.
place.
It's funny, like we were just having the same discussion the other day, or similar. Uh, Both my wife and I have been working so hard on, external projects.
Mm.
So my wife was working on a huge deal at work and was consuming most of her time. But she put off her passions, obviously, because the main focus was placed on getting the deal done. And I myself also working on getting my side projects up and off the ground, like you said. I'm not chasing, but trying to get to a stage where I can, make a little bit of impact from a monetization perspective, because we all like to have a little bit of extra cash that can help.
Yeah, yeah.
And sometimes it gets blurred of the why we do what we do, because we're chasing something that's normal in a sense, but mostly we forget we need to also keep in mind why we do what we do, because like you said, you can always get trapped into that external validation trap. Oh, my video didn't do so well, I got to do harder next time. What did I do? What could I have done better? Is my thumbnail okay? Is my SEO okay? Did I have enough content? Do I have tags? Blah blah blah. And it becomes so mind numbing that you start to Google, oh, how do I do this? How do I do this better? In terms of just trying to sit with it. Okay, why didn't it do well? Maybe just try and process it a little bit more internally, and then go again, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think it's a balance as well. I think it sounds nice and lovely to say that it doesn't matter, but like, come on, like, as well, like those things do matter.
Yeah.
Like it's yeah. But I think finding that balance of not being so driven by just the views, or so driven by something that you're unable to have that impact because nobody's watching. It is a balance, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a challenge. But if you put your mind to it, I think it can be done.
Absolutely.
Yeah. We just stay true to ourselves and self-love and be kind to ourselves.
Yeah, absolutely. No, the self-love and the compassion for yourself. Just give yourself grace. Yeah.
Legacy.
That's a big word, isn't it?
I know. That's why I put it out there, because it's something that we always put off. But if there's something that there's a calling for you to do, what kind of legacy would you like to place or stamp?
Do you know what? This maybe is not the right answer, but I'm just going to be honest.
Go for it.
I think I spent so long feeling this internal pressure of like purpose and like legacy and what am I going to leave behind and what kind of impact am I going to have? And I mean, this is tied with just some things I've thought about, but then also like I saw the author Elizabeth Gilbert. I don't know if you're familiar with her.
Yes.
She did a talk, and it just almost relieved all this pressure that I felt, because again, like, I don't mean to sound like a wet blanket, but when I'm gone, I don't think, there's going to be very few people that we remember. Does that make sense? I mean, from a historical standpoint, there's only really few people who have made like a huge impact, and I think that idea of legacy just sounds so stressful, and it sounds so much there's so much pressure surrounding it. So I think less about leaving a legacy and like being remembered when I'm gone, because truthfully, a lot of us aren't. It's more just, I think, from a community, like from a community standpoint, the people that I interact with, that my loved ones, my family. I mean, obviously that's important to me, but in terms of leaving a legacy, I try not to think too much about that.
Right.
Just because then it's just like another thing that I can stress about and feel like pressure on. It's more just about finding things that bring me joy and make me happy, and feeling like I'm maybe making a difference in somebody's life. And I think sometimes I can forget that. And sometimes I can forget that, but then I'm jumping all over the place. Going back to when I meet people in real life, like when I met that subscriber in Japan who, yeah, she was just so kind. And I've met people, you know, from YouTube, and I just, in those little moments, I think it's just a nice little reminder that this is what it's all about. But also, yeah, I'm not as stressed about leaving a legacy.
The here and now. That's what it's all about, the here and now.
The here and now, exactly.
I think that will be the theme for this podcast, the here and now.
I'm glad it's all come full circle.
Yeah, it's important for us to stay grounded and live in the moment right now, because those moments will pass and we won't get it back.
Exactly. I mean, yeah, like you could work yourself to the bone and to actually leave a legacy, but did it bring you joy? Did it make you happy?
Yeah.
How did you feel doing it? You know? I don't know. Yeah.
I think we'll leave it there.
Sounds good.
Oh, well, thank you, Caitlin. So much.
Thank you
It's such a pleasure, sharing your story with us. It resonated with me emotionally and deeply. So thank you for sharing your journey with us.
Thank you so much for having me. I really hope that it was okay. I feel like
No, it's perfect. It's perfect.
there's a lot of everything all jumbled in, but no, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Oh, thank you so much. Yes, guys, remember to subscribe. I'm gonna go to the normal. Hi guys, remember to hit that subscribe button, give this podcast a like button, follow Caitlin's journey on YouTube. I'll leave the link in the description below. Check her out, maybe subscribe and show her love as well. But thank you so much for joining in today's conversation. I hope it resonated with you, and Zen and Now is here for you whenever you need it. And until the next one, guys, stay Zen. Thank you so much.
Thank you.